Hey everyone, it is Sam here. Listen, we are cooking some gluten-free Thanksgiving. Now, if you guys are anything like me, you've had Thanksgiving on your brain since Halloween. So, we've been cooking up a storm. We just made some sweet potato casserole that's on the blog right now. Just go Bites of Wellness, you'll see that. You can look at sweet potato casserole. We've done cranberry sauce. Now it's time to do stuffing. I'm gonna go a little bit off the beaten path and do a wild rice stuffing instead of a traditional bread stuffing. This way it's gluten-free, it's super easy. And you guys, the reason I really love this is because this is the kind of dish that you can make after the holidays and it reminds you of Thanksgiving without having to get like stuffing, if that makes sense. So all your same flavors, especially because you're gonna have leftover cranberries and sage and all the things. Here's another great way to enjoy those flavors, even if you don't serve this at Thanksgiving time. So if you're catching the replay, thank you for watching. If you're watching this live, hey, I want you to comment sometime in the next 5 minutes what your favorite, hands down, easiest, best thing that you make for Thanksgiving is. Comment. I want to see what you guys are making. If you don't know me, my name is Samantha Rowland. I'm the founder of Bites of Wellness. We offer gluten-free solutions, healthy, easy, simple, but delicious meal ideas. So if you haven't checked us out, you can go there. Lots of high protein desserts, lots of simple, easy dinner ideas. We're trying to get to more 30 minutes or less. So we're gonna just get right into it. I am making some stuffing. So I've got the pan preheated. We've got a white onion I'm going to cut. So when I first put this recipe out, Dave was a little less up front than he is now, but I now know that he really doesn't care much for onion and he will be eating this. So I'm only going to use half of an onion. These recipes can be modified for your taste, for what you and your family like. So if you guys don't care much for onion, just do a half, or you could do a whole small onion, something like that. But it does add a little bit of those aromatics that you're used to when you think of stuffing. So real quick, going to show you guys one of the easiest ways to cut an onion. All right, so we're going to try not to cut off our fingers. You're going to cut the blade and just kind of keep your fingers way up top, and you can just kind of saw back and forth. Again, you're going to make one more cut, keep your fingers away, and then you can chop straight down. So the bottom of the bulb was here, so the little, this part that it's all the nubby was that part, and this is where all the shoots come out. So we're just gonna cut straight down, and this way you're not having to chase the onion all over the place. So you've cut twice across and then straight down. So now you guys can see it automatically dices up the onion. It's just an easier way. I think I watched Rachel Ray about 100,000 times do that. You guys, I used to be addicted to the Food Network. Anybody else? Am I alone? Give me some hearts if you were addicted to Food Network. And if you were, I want to know what your favorite show was, because I was all about pretty much everything. I love Ina Garten and Rachel Ray and Bobby Flay and all those people. So that's where I got a lot of my tips from. Heads up. All right, so onion has been cut. We're going to put some, this might be a little hot now. So in case you guys ever wonder, I'm cooking on like a camp, like it's a little bit hard to keep the temperature regulated. So hopefully you guys have better luck at your house. Gonna quickly get the onion on, let that saute. So this is gonna saute for, I don't know, 3 minutes. I'm gonna add 2 celery stalks. I'm just gonna cut it down the center. Again, keep your fingers away from the blade. Cut it down the center. Anybody share a favorite dish yet? What's your favorite Thanksgiving? Comment below. I want to know. What's your favorite thing to have? I know for me, if there's not sweet potato casserole at the table, I'm going to walk out. I don't care about anything else. All right, so we've got an onion and some celery going, nice hot pan. And I have a spoon. Gonna let that go. Gonna add a little bit of salt to this, and then I'm gonna tell you what I've already done, just to give you guys a heads up. All right, so that's cooking. Shake, shake, shake of salt. All right, so before you guys came on, I put 1 1/4 cups of wild rice. It's naturally gluten-free. Wild rice is actually a grain, so it's super yummy. It's got more of a nutty flavor. It's really delicious. You do want to make sure that you soak this for a little bit in like just some hot water and then drain it through a colander. You'll notice that when you soak it, the rice will turn really dark. That's just to make sure you're getting everything off of it and it's kind of been rinsed and cleaned. So 1 1/4 cups soaked, and then you just drain it through a colander. You're gonna cook that, and the recipe, I'll make sure to link to it. You're gonna cook that with a cup of water and a 1.5 cups of stock until you get cooked rice, okay? So that's kind of the behind the scenes stuff that I did. I did saute this up with a bay leaf, so we're gonna remove that. And I also put in a thing of sage, so a couple of leaves of sage in here, and I just put the whole thing in because I'm lazy. So taking that out, it gave me the flavor. There's a little bit of rosemary in here as well. So this is our base. Again, it's just wild rice cooked up, just so you guys know ahead of time. So that took about 30 minutes. To keep this entire recipe at 30 minutes, what you'll want to do is about 10 minutes before that timer goes off, you'll want to start the process that you see right now. So right now, it's just the onions and celery are cooking up. The recipe calls for a large Granny Smith apple. I didn't have large ones, so I'm going to do 2 small guys. So this is going to add just a little bit of sweetness. I love stuffing with like that sweet, you know, apples and even some cranberries. So we have, again, the idea of this was to be something that you can either make for Thanksgiving or you can make after the holiday to kind of use up all of those miscellaneous things like extra cranberries or extra sage leaves, things like that. Stuff you just kind of don't know what to do with, that you know, your recipe calls for 8 leaves of sage and you have to buy 100 leaves of sage. So you want to use them up before they go bad, because they will go bad. So we are just going to cut up an apple. Granny Smith, the green guy, super easy. I do make sure I get organic apples. I know I'm peeling them, but Trader Joe's always has the organic apples on sale. Or at a good price, I should say. All right, anybody comment yet on their favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Everybody likes stuffing.
Everybody likes stuffing? Oh, wow. Have you ever tried rice stuffing instead of the traditional stuffing? How's that for a question? All right. So, does anybody like apples in their stuffing? Yes? No? Give me some hearts if you do. All right, so we got some apples in there. I'm going to cut up like 4 to 6 leaves of sage. You guys, if you've never used sage, it's kind of big. It smells really good. It's a little bit furry. It's cool. I like it. Tastes really good. Definitely tastes like the holidays. Usually you'll use sage a lot in turkey dishes. So if you're making your own turkey, sometimes you get sage butter, something like that. All right, that should be good. I'm gonna show you guys how to cut this up. Easy peasy. So all the sage leaves, you're just going to pile them on top of each other. And so you got them all stacked up. You're gonna roll them up. You're gonna make a chiffonade, which is just fancy for little ribbons. So you're gonna roll them in half and then roll, roll, roll nice and tight. And then keep the top of your knife down. You're just gonna come straight down and make tiny little ribbons. As you get closer, just slow down. And you guys will see, now you got ribbons, so then you can just chop these up a lot faster. This way everything is just about the same size, which makes life easy. All right, so we are gonna add our sage, our apples. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. And a 1/2 cup of cranberries. So there's lots of options here. Fresh cranberries, I will tell you guys, I saw a tip on this earlier today. Really quick before you just throw them in, just pick over them really fast. They tend to have a few bad guys every time you reach in. So if you're making homemade cranberry sauce, you might want to just pick through them really fast. You can let them float in water, I believe. Does anybody have a good tip for that besides picking through them? You can either chop these up or just throw them in the way that they are. All right, this needs to be cooking. Turn it up. All right, so I'm gonna chop these just slightly. Nothing crazy. Some of them will be in half, some of them won't. That's fine. They will burst and pop, so that's why I'm cutting them. All right. That's how you guys cook. Do you make noises when you cook? Oh, Lord, the things you find out about yourself. All right, so as you can see, this is now all done. If you want to infuse a little bit more flavor in here, you could use some dried thyme. You definitely want to add a little bit of salt. Maybe have the heat up a little bit higher than I did. And then tablespoon and a half of maple syrup. I'm just going to stick with a tablespoon and see how that goes. I'm actually just going to eyeball it. That should be good. Just to add a little bit of sweetness, kind of offset those tart cranberries. If you guys remember from when we did the cranberry video, those cranberries are super tart. The apples help a lot, but the cranberries will get you every time. All right, so we're gonna pretend like all this is done. And then what we do is you simply, once this is all cooked, it should probably be about 3 or 4 minutes. You just wanna make sure the apples get soft, and they're just not there yet, so I'm not gonna rush it. You're just going to fold all of this into the rice. Make sure you have a big enough pot, or you can transfer all the rice into here, but I think it's always easier to pour in and stir. Stir, 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 and then you can serve this hot. You can serve this cold. You could easily double the recipe. If any of the things that we added you don't love, if you're not a big fan of cranberries, omit them, or I'm gonna give you guys another option, which is, I ordered these on Vitacost. They're like $3, maybe they're like $2, but they're cranberries, but they're sweetened with apple juice instead of sugar. They are so much better for you than the stuff sweetened with sugar. So if you love the idea of cranberries, but you don't want the tart ones, you want something sweet, get on Vitacost right now and grab you a bag or 2 of these. They're super extra addictive, so don't eat them by the handful. You won't have any on Thanksgiving. I hope this was helpful. Any questions? No? All right, guys. So if you try this, let me know. Tag me on Instagram, Bites of Wellness. I will make sure to take a picture and put it on our Instagram when all of this is done. Have a great night, y'all.